this is a very scary movie, and I don't mean that as in it's an actual scary movie. It's a scary movie to make for a lot of reasons, and that's kind of what's appealing about it. Is it's a creative challenge bigger than I think any that I've ever been up against.
That's really what was exciting about it, is that it was a new genre for us to do, and so this film was just like, you know, I mean, it was so far afield from anything we've done. There are parts of it that are really graphic, but it's really got a psychological undercurrent to it that I think is what makes it interesting.
This is really a tragedy, but it has some really creepy elements, and you do feel this sense of isolation and desperation and sadness, but you really also understand love and friendship and just trying to survive.
And in a weird way, there's a sort of an adventure movie that has this weird other character. That it's not a slasher horror movie, but it ends up by being somewhat in that department.
It's genre bending, and it's also it's not as straightforward as saying, you know, oh, there's you know, a killer or there's a villain. You know, the villain also almost becomes human nature.
It's not so much about the vine that overtakes us, it's about each other and how we go into our own worlds and how we just, in the end, I mean, I don't even know if we're even friends anymore. I don't know, you know?
But that is what's amazing. You know, these people that are all of a sudden put in this dire situation aren't really even best of friends, you know? So it's like, it's already not a strained relationship, but a relationship of sort of technicality, you know, because they're on vacation together and then they're forced to really deal with each other, you know?
One of the things that was so interesting to me about the characters and what they go through and what they turn into is, I mean, they start as these sort of gorgeous, sexy, very normal, very real kids, and you know, by the end of the film, they've turned into monsters. The physical transformation, you know, was something that I was really interested in, and in a weird way, you know, they're just as, you know, sexy, you know, which is perverse and, you know, sort of unsettling, hopefully, if it works.
Again, it was an incredibly scary endeavor because the only other movie that came close to this was Little Shop of Horrors. So typically movies about man-eating plants tend to be campy and silly. So I guess we have an opportunity there to make something original and different. And again, getting the right director was a crucial piece of the puzzle. You
know, I was about to go on vacation, it was August, and the book had just come out, and it was my vacation book. The day before I was leaving, my agent called me and said, there's this project at DreamWorks, it's this thing called The Ruins. And I was like, the Scott Smith book. And I was 30 pages into the book, I was like, I love it. So, you know, it was sort of a funny coincidence.
Well, you know, at Red Hour, we like to work with first-time directors. I think I don't know how many we've done, but most of our movies seem to be with first-time directors. And a lot of that just comes out of finding somebody who you think is talented. And, you know, Carter's a really accomplished photographer, and he has an incredible visual sense. And Steven Spielberg had seen Bug Crush, which is the short that Carter did, and said, you should check out this guy.
Bug Crush is an extremely disturbing, kind of realistic horror film done by a first-time director, Carter Smith. And the more we talked about what tone we wanted The Ruins to have, the more we began to reference Bug Crush.
There haven't been very many films in a long time that scared me, and I'm a huge genre fan, so I mean, I'm hard to please. And you know, there was something very raw and, I mean, violent and emotional, and you know, all of the stuff that sort of horror films had seemed to have left behind for a while.
It's okay.
little step to your left.
What interested us in The Ruins, initially, Scott Smith sent us the first 3 chapters of the book and an outline of what the rest of the book would be. And we actually purchased it before it was published. We obviously liked the book a lot, and then wanted Scott to write the screenplay.
And Scott is just such a, I just think he's one of the best writers out there, both screenwriter and novelist. In the script, he was able to sort of take the book and take the elements that that were great about the book, but then create a compelling story.
There was a lot of stuff that was in the script that, it was almost in a way shorthand. Even working with the cast, because they all read the book. I mean, in rehearsals and when we were workshopping and just kind of improvising stuff, was stuff from the book would come up, and even if it didn't, make it into, dialogue that's spoken on screen, all of the performances are really sort of informed by the book.
My character, Stacy, in the movie ends up cutting herself and being obsessed with this vine, but in the book, Eric is the one who becomes obsessed and infatuated with this thing. So I read the book and I took little tidbits for Stacy, but I also took things from Eric's character as well. And we kind of made it our own, too.
I looked at the novel until I realized that it wasn't Matthias who broke his, did the whole thing. So it's strange. It's like looking at reading the book or the movie, and my text is the script. And because it changes a lot, I have to work from the script.
What Carter and kind of the whole production has done such a remarkable job of is given us the environment in which to kind of allow those little magical moments.
You run as fast as you can, okay?
I mean, putting the team together was such a pleasure, because there was resistance from a lot of people at first. Just it's a horror movie, I don't know if I want to do a horror movie, but I think in a way that was great, because that got rid of everyone that shouldn't have be doing the film.
My name is Darius Konji. I'm a cinematographer on this film, The Ruins. I was laughing with Carter all the time because he's a photographer also.
It's something that I've been doing every day for, 13, 14 years as a photographer. So, I'm, framing up shots all day, every day. I'm very used to just saying, no, the camera should be here and a little lower, and, maybe this lens. It's something that it's just a language that I'm sort of used to speaking. So, and what's great about, a DP like Darius is he's, completely open to it, and it's all about collaboration and sort of, finding it together.
I always photograph very, very pretty, natural, but very beautiful. And I always take care of actors, actresses, make them look beautiful and all that. And suddenly, for the first time, I really wanted to not make them look beautiful, really go for the gritty look. We had worked together before, and there was something to him, I think, about shooting a really horrific film in broad daylight. That is something that he hadn't seen before, and I haven't seen before, and it's a challenge. How do you make this stuff really frightening and scary, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, front lit? We're talking really from the beginning about shooting as much as possible with natural light and shooting with real locations and not recreating everything digitally. We're not diffusing the light, and we're not, it's harsh, and it's, it's harsh visually, and it's harsh emotionally, and it's, there's a lot of elements